This happened a few months ago. I was grading papers in our cozy living room. It was the kind of evening that felt perfectly normal. Lily was out volunteering at the library, leaving the house so quiet. I always thought we had a great marriage, but lately, I noticed something strange. One rainy Saturday, I decided to clean the attic. I found an old, dusty box hidden in a corner. I opened it and saw pictures inside. I recognized Lily, but she was laughing with people I didn't know. My stomach twisted. Why hadn't she mentioned any of this? Weeks passed, and the oddities started stacking up. One night, I came home late and heard her on the phone, whispering in a hurried voice. I stopped outside the door. My heart raced as I listened. She saw me and quickly hung up, putting on a smile that felt wrong. It wasn't just the phone calls. I saw messages on her social media from people I didn't recognize. They seemed too friendly, too familiar. I would ask about them. Just random acquaintances, she'd laugh it off. But it didn't sit right with me. What kind of friends did she have that I didn't know about? Then I found the diary. It was wedged between a stack of old yearbooks in her office. I opened it and scanned the entries. They spoke of trips and adventures we hadn't shared. A weekend in a city I'd never heard her mention. Parties with strangers in those photos. I shut it quickly, feeling dread creep in. I had to know more. One night, I waited for her to fall asleep. Then I picked up her phone. My hands were clammy as I unlocked it. I scrolled through her messages. Each one felt like a new clue, piecing together a life I didn't know about. My heart raced as I read. Maybe I was intruding, but I was desperate to understand. Then one late afternoon, she came home with a look on her face that chilled me. I need to tell you something, she whispered. I felt a cold wave wash over me. Before I could respond, I heard a voice, a low whisper, "Why are you with her?" It echoed from the shadows of the hallway. I turned, hoping to see someone there, but nobody was. I looked back at Lily, her eyes wide and scared. "Mark," she started, but the front door creaked. I glanced toward it, feeling a chill run down my spine. "Lily?" I said. I felt a knot in my gut. What was happening? The atmosphere felt heavy. Shadows flickered across the walls. "Mark," she tried again, stepping closer. I wanted to run, but I was frozen. I quickly glanced at the darkness again. "Who's there?" I shouted, but only silence responded. Then I heard it again, "Why are you with her?" I looked around, my heart racing. The voice wasn't just in my head. It felt real. "Mark, listen to me," Lily said, but I wasn't sure I wanted to hear it anymore. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. I glanced at Lily, and she visibly flinched when I shouted. "What is going on?" I demanded, trying to keep my voice steady. She stepped back, as if my question was too forceful, and I felt something crack between us. "Please let us talk about this calmly," she said, her voice trembling. "It's not what you think." Not what I think. What did I even think anymore? The walls felt like they were closing in. I shook my head, finally willing to confront her. "Then tell me. What's going on with the phone calls? The friends? Why was there a diary hidden in your office? What are you hiding from me?" My voice rose on those last words, echoing in the silence of our home. "Mark," she hesitated, looking down at the floor. Her face twisted in a way I had never seen before. There was fear there, but also something darker. "There are things from my past, things I didn't want to bring into our life." "I didn't think it mattered," she finally said, but I could tell she wasn't being truthful. In a quick sweep, I noticed a shadow dart by the edge of the hallway. I turned again, my heart pounding. "Did you see that?" I asked Lily. She shook her head, sweat beading on her forehead. "It's just the light. It's nothing." I stared at her. I wanted to believe her, but doubt ate away at me. I took a hesitant step toward the hallway. It wasn't just my imagination. Something inside me knew what I had to do next. I needed to confront whatever was lurking in the darkness, alongside the secrets my wife carried. I took another step, my breathing heavy as I moved past her. "Mark, wait!" she called after me, panic rising in her voice. I stopped. "No. I need to know." The hallway loomed ahead, the shadows deeper than before. As I stepped closer, the voice echoed again, a cold whisper that sent chills through my spine. "Why are you with her?" It felt like a taunt, like a cruel joke. Then something pulled my attention. A faint light flickered from the corner where I had seen the shadow. In that instant, I also remembered the box. What else was hidden away in our home? The pictures, the whispered secrets, it all tied together, and I needed answers. I walked toward the flickering light, my heart racing. "Show yourself!" I shouted into the darkness. Just then, a figure stepped into the light. I couldn't make out the details, but the shape provoked an instant surge of fear. "Who are you?" I breathed, stumbling backward. Lily grabbed my arm, her grip tight. "Mark, stop! You don't want to do this!" But it was too late. I found myself drawn forward, as if the shadows were calling me deeper. Whatever awaited me on the other side, I couldn't turn back now. And just like that, I was left standing with the truth lurking just out of reach. I took a tentative step closer, my eyes straining to discern the figure emerging from the shadows. The flickering light cast strange shapes across the wall, twisting the contours of the room into something unfamiliar. I gritted my teeth, forcing myself to stay steady. "Who are you?" I repeated, more firmly this time. The figure paused, and a moment passed in silence. I could feel Lily's breath beside me, quick and shallow. Finally the figure spoke, but the voice was a low whisper, indistinct and haunting. It echoed in my mind with an unsettling familiarity. "Why do you trust her?" it asked. I looked to Lily, searching for any sign of recognition or fear that matched my own. Her face was pale, and her lips trembled slightly, but she remained silent. The figure took another step forward, and the light flickered again, momentarily revealing a face that sent a shiver down my spine. I couldn't place it, but something about it felt painfully close. "Get away from him!" Lily shouted, intensity breaking through her hesitation. I felt the force of her words, but I didn't move. Instead, I stepped further into the light, unwilling to back down. "What do you want? What do you know about her?" The figure laughed softly, but the sound was devoid of joy. "You're too late, Mark. You can't protect her from the past." I instinctively glanced at Lily, whose eyes widened with a mix of fear and desperation. That panic felt heavy in the room, almost tangible. "Mark," she whispered, but I could hear the warning in her voice. "Tell me," I pressed, the panic in my throat rising. "What did she do?" As I spoke, the air around us seemed to solidify, thickening like fog. The figure's eyes were locked onto me, revealing layers of pain and anger that had been building for years. "You don't know what you're getting into. She didn't want you to find out," and now suddenly, the lights flickered violently, plunging the space back into darkness. I felt my heart skip a beat, panic flooding my veins. I reached blindly for the wall, searching for balance. "Lily! Where are you?" "Mark, stay with me," she called out, her voice shaking. Before I could respond, a loud crash came from the hallway, an angry noise that echoed through our home like a gunshot. My body froze. "What was that?" "I don't know," Lily shouted back, her voice strained. "We have to go." I didn't think. I turned, grabbing her hand and pulling her toward the nearest exit. As we moved, I felt something brush past us, cold and quick. My heart raced again, racing against the words of the figure echoing in my mind. What did she do? Outside, the air felt crisper, but it didn't erase the dread building within me. We stumbled into the yard, catching our breath, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was stalking in the shadows, waiting for us to return inside. Then everything went dark. I blinked against the darkness, confusion swallowing me whole. I expected some familiar shape or color to return, but nothing came. It was a void that felt alive, pressing against my skin and coiling in my stomach. "Lily!" I called, panic tinging my voice. "Here! I'm here!" Her voice was frantic but close. I reached out, my hands searching for her. When I finally found her arm, I pulled her close, grounding myself in her presence. "Are you okay?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. "I'm fine, but we need to leave. Now." Her urgency sent a chill down my spine. Something crashed inside the house again, and I jumped at the sound, adrenaline propelling me forward. I pulled her toward the gate at the end of the yard, the only escape I could think of. But just as we reached the wooden barrier, my foot caught on something in the dark, and I fell to the ground. "Mark!" Lily shouted, fear lacing her words. "Just go," I managed to say, pushing myself up again. But instead of following my command, she knelt beside me, her face set with determination. "No. We're in this together," she insisted, her grip steady on my arm. Before I could respond, a figure darted across the yard. I caught a glimpse of a shadow moving fast, and icy fingers of dread wrapped around my throat. "Did you see that?" I gasped. "See what?" she asked, her voice shaky. I wanted to explain, to tell her about the figure's haunting words and the unsettling familiarity of its face, but it all felt too overwhelming. And then I remembered the question, "Why do you trust her?" Lily looked behind her. "We're not safe here. We need to go now." She gestured toward the street. I nodded, and we pushed through the gate, stepping out into the street. The night was too quiet, an eerie stillness enveloping us. But that silence was shattered by another crash coming from inside the house, louder than before. It sent a bolt of fear shooting through me. "What is happening, Lily? We have to do something." "Maybe we should call the police," she suggested, her brows knitting together in concern. I shook my head, my mind racing. "No, we don't have time for that. What if they come and Mark, what if they can help?" Lily insisted, her eyes pleading. "What if it's dangerous?" Before I could argue, a figure emerged from the shadows of the street, moving toward us. I squinted, heart pounding. "Who is that?" As the figure approached, the streetlight flickered, casting light on a face I recognized instantly, someone I had wished to forget. "You shouldn't have run," he said, his voice dripping with menace that twisted my gut. My breath caught in my throat as dread settled in. "What are you doing here?" I stammered out the words. "You think you can protect her?" He sneered. "You're in over your head. She asks not what you think." Then, with the weight of his words crushing down on me, I felt the ground shift beneath my feet. My phone buzzed in my pocket, startling me. But the last words I saw on the screen made my blood run cold. "Help me. Before it's too late." I looked at Lily, then back at him. "What did you do?" I demanded, a new fear rising. He smirked. "Oh, it's not what I did. It's what she did." And just like that, the pieces began to fall into place, but I didn't like the picture they formed. My heart raced as I stood there, caught between the tense moment with Lily and the looming threat in front of us. I wanted to challenge him, to scream and demand answers, but words failed me. Instead, I took a half-step back, pulling Lily with me, instinctively wanting to shield her from whatever danger he represented. "Mark, what is going on?" Lily asked, her voice quivering. I could see the uncertainty in her eyes, but there was something else too, a flicker of fear mixed with determination. "Just stay behind me," I told her, hoping it would add a sense of protection. "Did he hurt you? I mean, is he the one?" She started, but I cut her off. "Not now," I snapped, glancing back at the figure who loomed larger with the dim light. "Who are you?" He chuckled, an unsettling sound that slithered through the still night. "You really don't know, do you? You're playing a dangerous game with a pawn you don't even understand." "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice shaky but defiant. He leaned closer, his eyes dark and unreadable. "The question isn't what I mean, it's what she hasn't told you." Panic bubbled inside me. "Lily." I turned toward her, the realization creeping in that maybe I didn't know her at all. "Is there something you need to tell me?" Her expression was a mix of fear and frustration. "I can explain. Just not here." But before she could elaborate, the figure interrupted with a mocking grin. Explain what? The secrets she carries? The lies wrapped around her life? Stop it! I shouted, my voice breaking the silence that had fallen over us. You're lying. Am I? He replied, taking a step forward. The streetlight flickered again, casting shadows that danced around him. You think you've got it all figured out, but trust me, Mark, you have no idea. Enough. I felt a surge of anger push back the fear. You'll stay away from us. He leaned back, looking amused. You think you can protect her? From me? Or from herself? Lily's hand squeezed mine, her grip tight. Mark, please, we need to go, she begged, her voice strained. Suddenly, a piercing scream erupted from the house behind us, raw and full of terror. It cut through the tension, freezing all of us in place. My instincts kicked in. We can't just stand here. Just as I turned to move, the figure exploded with laughter. Run if you want, but you can't escape the truth. With that, he melted back into the shadows, leaving a cold pressure in the air. We need to get to safety, I urged Lily, and we hurried down the street, our footsteps echoing in the stillness. But that scream played over in my mind, churning my stomach with dread. Then everything changed. As we turned the corner, I came face to face with another figure, this one not shrouded in darkness. I froze. Who are you? Lily gasped beside me, and I immediately felt the crackle of electricity in the air. The stranger's face was familiar, but I couldn't place it. That S when I saw it, the same haunting look that had glimmered in the shadows before. What's happening? Lily trembled as I stepped back, but I was already consumed by the question. How deep did this go? And what had she hidden from me? The figure stepped closer, the streetlight flickering, illuminating a face that snagged my breath. Mark? Is that really you? His voice was shaky, almost pleading. I squinted, recognition scratching at the back of my mind. Brent? Yeah, it's me. He took another cautious step forward. What's going on? I just got here, and I glanced back at Lily, and her eyes were wide, filled with disbelief. You know him? She whispered. More like we used to know each other. I turned back to Brent, confusion settling like a dense fog. How did you get here? What's going on? His expression shifted, a flicker of panic crossing his face. I didn't mean to show up like this. I was looking for you, Lily. I need you to listen to me. Lily's grip on my hand tightened, her anxiety palpable. You shouldn't have come here, Brent. Not now. Why not? I interjected, curiosity battling the fear creeping back in. What's happening? He glanced over his shoulder, looking as if he were expecting someone to follow him out of the shadows. You're both in danger. That man, he's not what you think. Do you know him? I asked, my heart racing anew. Brent nodded, swallowing hard. He has been tracking you, Lily? Since the day you bumped into him at the cafe. Lily flinched, her breath catching. But I didn't do anything wrong. No, but he believes you know something. Something you've been keeping from him. What could I possibly know that would matter to him? She replied, her voice rising in frustration. Brent hesitated, the weight of his revelation hanging between us like a noose. He thinks you hold the key to something important. Enough with the riddles. I snapped, feeling urgency and fear clash inside me. What are you talking about? Brent turned to me, his eyes desperate. Lily has a past, a life before this. A life that involves people who don't take kindly to being crossed. The fragments of Lily's past felt like jagged pieces of glass in my mind. I looked at her, waiting for her to deny it, but instead her gaze fell to the ground, shame creeping into her features. Lily, I whispered, overwhelmed with confusion. What don't I know? Can we please just get out of here? She said, her voice barely above a trembling murmur. Then a sound shattered the air, a heavy footfall followed by the unmistakable sound of a voice, deep and menacing, echoing from down the street. Looking for someone? My heart dropped. We were trapped. I glanced between Brent and Lily as the realization sunk in. Who was this man? And what did he want with her? Brent's eyes widened at my side. We have to run. Now. I hesitated. Did I trust him? Or was this just another complication in a web of lies? But as that ominous voice grew closer, the intent clear, I knew we didn't have any time to waste. I took Lily's hand tight in mine, pulling her back towards the alley. Stay close. We need to find a way out. But deep down, the question churned like a storm. What truth had Lily hidden, and how much danger had it brought crashing down on us? We sprinted down the alley, my heart racing in time with my pounding footsteps. I could hear their voices now, menacing and cold, echoing behind us. This way! I yelled, pulling Lily with me. She stumbled, and I steadied her, barely sparing a glance back. Who is he? I pressed Brent as we turned another corner. Why is he after us? Brent's breath came in short gasps. I can't explain everything right now, but he is dangerous. He knows things about Lily that she hasn't even told you. I shot a quick look at Lily. She was pale, her eyes wide with fear as she struggled to keep up. You need to tell us what is going on, I urged her. Not here. She shook her head fervently. We need to get somewhere safe first. I felt a swell of frustration. That man wants you, Lily. We need answers now. Before she could respond, a loud crash echoed from the mouth of the alley. It was that man. He was closer than I thought. My pulse quickened as I dragged Lily behind an old dumpster, Brent squeezing in next to us. I barely contained a groan as I caught my breath, taking in my surroundings. The alley was cramped, festooned with grimy litter and the odor of decay. I had to focus. Brent, tell me what else you know. Anything. Brent hesitated, glancing back at the entrance. He's part of a crew. They've been looking for Lily because she crossed someone important. The details I don't know, but you need to trust me. They're not going to back off. I felt a creeping unease. All of this felt too immense, too unreal. What did Lily do? Brent flinched, unwilling to meet my gaze. She was involved with something they wanted. Something dangerous. What? What did you get yourself into, Lily? She winced, pulling her knees to her chest. I thought I was safe. I was just trying to survive. The sounds of footsteps pounded closer. I could feel the energy shift around us. We don't have time for this, I said urgently. We needed a plan. Follow me, Brent said, his voice steadier now. I know a back way out. But we have to move now. I felt a push of adrenaline. Brent might have been hiding things, but for now, he seemed to want to help. I grabbed Lily's hand again and nodded. Let us go. The three of us darted through the alley, scanning for any sign of safety. I kept a watchful eye on our surroundings, aware that someone could emerge from the shadows at any moment. We reached a dead end. The wall seemed like it could swallow us whole, but there, to our right, was a rusted fire escape. Up! Brent shouted, pointing. I quickly boosted Lily up, then climbed after her. Just as I reached the top, I heard a shout from below. They're over here! My stomach twisted. The urgency was real. I swung myself over the railing, and in an instant, we were running along the narrow rooftop. The night sky stretched above us, clouded and unforgiving. Then everything changed. I glanced over my shoulder, and that's when I saw a figure emerging from the shadows. He was fast, too fast. Go! I yelled, pushing Lily ahead as the sense of danger intensified. Fear clenched at my insides. Suddenly, we were pursued. I could hear their footsteps gaining on us. My mind raced. Who was this man that he could instill this much terror? What had Lily done that risked all our lives? I picked up the pace, but I felt a sharp sting in my side. A shadow leapt towards me, and I barely dodged it. In that moment, I realized we weren't just running from a man. We were fleeing from the truth. The fire escape might be our way out, but it also felt like the edge of a cliff. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears, racing with the growing dread. I didn't know where this path would lead us, but one thing was clear: once we chose it, there was no turning back. We raced across the rooftops, the sound of pounding feet behind us a constant reminder that we were being hunted. The chill of the night air bit at my skin, but adrenaline kept us moving. I could tell Lily was struggling, but I didn't dare slow down. Another leap over a gap and we were on the edge of another building. "Keep going," I urged, glancing back. The figure was gaining on us, his silhouette sharper now against the distant lights. Brent was leading the way, but I could sense his anxiety. "There's a door at the end of this building. We'll be able to get inside and hide." I swallowed hard. My mouth felt dry, and the knot in my stomach tightened. What if he follows us inside? Brent didn't answer, his focus solely on the door ahead. "We'll deal with it when we get there." As we sprinted, I felt the weight of Lily's hand in mine. I couldn't let go. She needed me, even if she wouldn't share the details that could unleash this nightmare. I wanted to protect her. I had to. Finally, we reached the door. Brent pushed it open, and we stumbled into a narrow stairwell, the stale air thick around us. I shot one last glance back. He was still there, and he was closer than before. "Get in!" Brent shouted, shoving us further inside before following. He slammed the door shut just as a loud thud resonated on the other side. We stood in the darkness, our breaths heavy, the echo of danger still ringing in my ears. I could see Lily's face in the dim light, and the fear mirrored in her eyes made my chest tighten even more. "What now?" I whispered, trying to keep my voice steady. "We need to find a way out of this building." Brent's voice was tense, but he seemed to regain some composure. "We can't stay here long." "Why are they after Lily?" I pressed again, urgency creeping into my tone. "You can't just Brent interrupted, pressing a finger to his lips. Dread washed over me as I realized why. Footsteps echoed in the stairwell. I exchanged a panicked look with Lily. "They found us," she whispered, her voice trembling. Brent pulled us further down the corridor, searching for another exit. My heart raced, but I wanted answers. "Brent, tell me who that guy is." "I can't," he hissed back, eyes darting. "Not here." "We have to." Before he could finish, a loud bang reverberated through the hall as the door we'd just used was kicked in. My stomach dropped. "Run!" Brent shouted, pushing both of us toward the far end of the hallway. We flew into motion, the sound of shattering glass from behind us adding to the chaos. At the end of the corridor, I spotted an emergency exit sign glowing faintly. "There!" I shouted. We bolted in that direction, but a heavy thud behind us signaled our pursuer had followed. I reached for the door handle, my fingers fumbling with fear. "Hurry!" Just as I yanked the door open, I felt a sharp yank on my jacket. I turned to find the figure lunging for us. His face was now illuminated in the emergency light. Recognition hit me like a punch. It was someone I knew. Someone I didn't expect. "Stop!" I yelled, my voice cracking at the shock. But it was too late. The man lunged again, and I pushed Lily through the door. She stumbled as I fell backward, barely escaping the oncoming grasp. "Get out! Now!" I shouted as I struggled to regain my footing. Suddenly, everything went dark as the door swung shut, locking behind me. The last thing I saw was a twisted smile on the man's face. I saw the truth then. Lurking beneath the surface was more than I had bargained for, and I wasn't sure we were going to escape it alive. The darkness swallowed me. My heart hammered against my ribs, and I stumbled blindly in the confined space. Confusion swirled in my mind, mixing with fear. I had no idea what to do next. "Are you okay?" I heard a whisper. It was Lily, her voice low and shaky. I felt her warmth near me as I took a step back, trying to find a foothold in the pitch blackness. "I think so." I strained my eyes, but nothing changed. Then it hit me: the door was locked. I pressed my back against the cold wall, trying to slow my racing thoughts. We have to find another way out. Brent was moving, feeling for something in the dark. "This has to lead somewhere," he muttered, sounding more anxious than I'd heard him earlier. "We can't stay here." Footsteps echoed in the stairwell outside, slower now, but steady. I pressed my ear against the door, straining to hear. They were searching. Who was that guy? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. I needed to know. Brent sighed, the sound full of frustration. He asked someone from the past. Someone who shouldn't be here. What do you mean? He asked an old friend, or at least, he was until he went rogue. He asked dangerous, and he has a reason for targeting Lily. Why? What does he want? My hand shook as I spoke, and I struggled to keep my emotions in check. Brent turned away, his shadows mingling with my own. You wouldn't understand. It's complicated. Complicated? I was losing my patience. We're about to be caught, and all you can say is it's complicated? Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the stairwell, followed by muffled shouts. My stomach twisted. They were getting closer. Shh! Brent hissed, pressing against the door. We need to find a way out now. Before I could respond, Lily grabbed my arm. We can't just sit here. We have to fight back. No, Brent said firmly, we need to be smart. If he's already inside, we have to get down to the basement. Basement? I echoed. There's a basement? There should be. Come on. Brent led us down the dark hall, away from the door, while I struggled to keep pace. I didn't want to leave my safety behind, but there was no other choice. As we moved deeper, I felt something shift in the air. A flicker of light caught my attention, leading me to a narrow window at the end of the hall. It could be our only escape. Over there. I pointed. The glow felt like hope, something we desperately needed. No! Brent grabbed my arm, dragging me back. We can't go there yet. It's too risky. Before I could protest, a loud crash echoed against the door behind us, stronger this time. I froze. There's more than one of them, I whispered, terror seeping through my skin. Brent cursed under his breath, and I could see the tension radiating from him. We have to find that basement, he said. If we get trapped in here, we're done. But as we rushed forward, something caught my eye on the ground, a glint of metal. I crouched down for a closer look. It was a key. My breath caught in my throat. Brent, look! I held it up, doing my best to keep hope alive. Maybe it's for the door. Then I saw something else, a shadow creeping toward us from the far end of the corridor. I felt my blood run cold. We need to move now. The figure lunged forward, and just like that, everything spiraled into chaos. I clutched the key tight in my palm, my heart racing as Brent grabbed my arm, pulling me toward the door we had just fled. We have to try, I said, desperation edging my voice. The footsteps behind us pounded like an impending storm, growing louder. Get ready! Brent yelled, his eyes wide with urgency. I nodded, bracing myself, but the fear of what lay beyond the door gripped me tighter. We all knew it was a risk, but staying here felt like waiting for doom to catch us. In one swift motion, Brent shoved the key into the lock and turned it. The click echoed through the corridor. My breath caught in my throat, not knowing if the door would lead to safety or further danger. The darkened room beyond was nearly as imposing as the alley we had just escaped. I'll go first, Brent whispered fiercely. He nudged the door open just enough to slip in, peering cautiously into the darkness. I stepped in right behind him, pulling Lily to me as I scanned the space. Stay close, I warned, my voice low. The room smelled musty, filled with the remnants of old dust and neglect. A single flickering light bulb dangled from the ceiling, casting wild shadows that danced against the peeling walls. My pulse quickened. This felt like a hideout, but from what? Do you see any other exits? Lily whispered, eyes darting around the dim space, anxiety dripping from her words. Brent nodded slowly, approaching a door on the far side. Yeah, I think we can get out through there. But we have to be careful. They could already be in the building. With tense movements, we crept toward the door. I gestured for Brent and Lily to wait behind me as I placed my hand on the doorknob, hesitating just a moment before pushing it open. What lay on the other side was a narrow staircase descending into even darker depths. The oppressive air wrapped around me like a weight. Do we really want to go down there? I asked, glancing back at Lily, but she nodded resolutely. Better than facing whoever is upstairs, she replied, her voice steadier than I felt. We stepped carefully down, the wood creaking beneath our weight. As we reached the bottom, a faint light flickered in the distance. My mind raced. Was it a way out? Or a warning? Stay sharp, Brent said, leading the way. As we neared the light, I couldn't shake the sense that something had shifted. Something was waiting for us. In the small room lit by a single bulb, I gasped. There were scattered belongings, clothes, old photographs, and letters, but what caught my eye was a mirror hanging crookedly on the wall. I stepped forward and froze. Staring back at me was not just my reflection but the faces of people I recognized, faces from the photographs I'd found in the attic. They were connected to Lily's past, but how? What is this? I muttered, my voice barely above a whisper. Mark, look out! Lily screamed, but it was too late. From the shadows, a figure lunged at me. I barely had time to react as I dodged, the reflection of that ominous voice from earlier echoing in my ears. Why are you with her? The question twisted into a taunt, chilling me as I stumbled backward. Mark, run! Brent yelled, shoving Lily toward the exit as shadows swarmed around us, encasing the area in terror. I darted forward as the figure's presence became suffocating, closing in. The space felt alive, almost sentient. I glanced at the door. We had to make it out of this room. I turned to help Brent and Lily, but the whispers became overwhelming, swirling around me like a maelstrom of confusion and fear. Mark, we need you. Please! Lily's voice cut through the chaos, driving me forward. I took a step, feeling the heavy gaze of the figure weighing on my back. Let us go! I shouted, shoving the door open, only to find my way blocked by more figures pouring in from the hallway. Panic surged through me as I realized we were surrounded again. Lily! I screamed, my heart racing as shadows crept closer. We were outnumbered and the answers I sought felt farther away with every breath. What do we do? Brent pulled Lily to his side, his body shielding her as he frantically looked for an escape. There has to be another way. In that moment, a loud crash reverberated through the building, shaking the walls and scattering the shadows for a split second. Just as quickly as they receded, the figures pressed closer. Get to the back! I yelled. There was a small exit door behind them. The figures hesitated, unsure whether to pursue us or remain. Fueled by desperation, we charged forward, darting through the thinning mist of darkness. I could feel the eyes upon us, their whispers shrilling as we reached the door. Go! I shouted, shoving it open as I shoved Lily through. Brent followed closely, a determined look on his face. I took one last glance back, the shadows swirling in confusion behind me. You can't protect her. The voice echoed again, but we wouldn't stop. Bursting into the street, fresh air filled my lungs, but the night felt just as heavy with uncertainty. Where was the end to this chaos? Did we really escape? Even as I gasped for breath, I knew that the questions swirling in my mind remained unanswered. What had Lily hid from me? What darkness was ever looming, waiting to pounce again? I turned to look at her, the streetlights reflecting her pale face. We need to talk, I said, but as relief surged through me, doubt bubbled just beneath. I could barely sense what was real and what had been a lingering nightmare. We ran ahead, the night still cloaked in shadows, and I couldn't help but wonder if they would follow us into dawn, forever a part of the price we had to pay for the secrets lurking in the dark.